everyone.
Good evening.
What's going
How are you
on?
doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Uh-oh, I think I have a visitor.
Hey, be appreciative of your visitor, sir. Like he's your special guest.
Yes.
He wants you to. He wants
Oh,
to.
well, I think he
he-
just left me, so I am available to talk right now.
oh, that's because your special guest came to see me.
Yes.
So anyway, how was your day at work? Any interesting conversations?
Um, not. I had a good day. I had a very good day because it was a positive day.
It was a what
And
day?
the reason it was a positive day,
Okay.
and it was positive thoughts, positive energy. Um, because I ended up talking to someone who was talking about working on his dreams.
Okay.
And I know that over the past several months we've been talking about it, he's actually starting to believe in himself,
Okay.
knowing that he can do something instead of always doubting himself.
Okay.
And at the same time, I think when they say if you want to be great, you need to surround yourself with great people or good people, people who are going somewhere in life.
Hmm.
I find that to be true because if you're not around anyone who's not going anywhere,
Yep.
you don't really feel, you don't, it's like if everybody's the same, then if I just do a little bit more, you know, I'm okay. Or not. You don't have to do anything. You can just sit there and be as comfortable as everyone else. But when you see someone that says, "Hey, I'm about to do this now," it's like, "Ooh, well, maybe I need to do this too, or I need to start working on this or that." And I think that comes. It's not just me speaking. It's several people that I've run into, and I see them actually starting to get after it instead of paying so much attention to what everybody else is doing that doesn't even have any effect on them at all. Um, and it makes me feel good. And I was listening to a video today that said, if you if you put stop worrying about everything else. Stop worrying about your past. Stop worrying about all this and that, and just focus on you and what you want to do. You can be more successful in life. You will be the person that you always supposed to be, or based on your gift that God gave you. You will end up finding that if you would just say, "Hey, just go all after it," and this is what I want to do right here. Um, but it's hard for people. It doesn't have to be. It just is.
So
And that's why, as you always say, and as we discussed, you got to change your thought process.
yeah.
Always think positive, positive thoughts.
So today our topic was going to be on let's talk about what we're using as a distraction instead of pursuing your goals. Right? What are you doing that what are you doing that you shouldn't be doing? Because you're just trying to find those little things to do, right? What are you putting off in order to create something else? Like the distractions come in a lot of ways, right? And
Hmm.
the biggest distraction is this.
Is what
You didn't see what I put up?
is no
You
no
can't
it
see?
was what the phone. Yes, that's a big distraction. We
Yeah.
can't be
So
unless you're using it to your advantage in order to gain something out of it.
my biggest thing is if it ain't making you no money, you can go ahead and put it on down and go do what you need to do. That's my biggest thing. Now, people believe that they can preach what they're doing or what they're going to do. But I'm gonna tell y'all something right now. If there ain't no action behind that preaching, it ain't nothing but words coming out your face. And sometimes you can go ahead and take them words to the bathroom and flush them down the toilet because they really don't mean nothing. And it's amazing how so many people want to get defensive on the fact that they don't take the time to actually truly like stop talking and just do something. I lost my guess. I am not sure.
Yeah, I don't know if can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't see you anymore. There you go. Look at that. Now I can see is your there we go. Take it back
Yes,
there.
I'm not sure what's going on. Technical difficulties. I'm gonna have to get with my
So
representative.
here's the deal. Another thing I want to highlight in this conversation before we go any further, right? Mercury retrograde, right? Like it's a real thing, and communication, electronics, flights, all of those things are hindered because of Mercury retrograde. And you know, people can take what they want out of what I say. They can run with it. They can stop. They can not say nothing. At this point, I really don't care. But what I'm gonna say to you is start paying attention to what's going on in the world. And I'm not saying watch the news. I'm saying be willing to learn new things and how it's affecting us and what's going on. Because we just had a full moon, and the full moon was all about releasing those things that no longer serve you. And that's a good thing for people to learn because of the fact that we hold on to these limiting beliefs and things that don't serve us. And it's always, well, I can't do this because I don't have that. What if we just tried, stop making the excuses, and just did something, right? Like just do something, just one thing. Like today, literally say, this is what I want to do, and this is the action I'm going to take behind it. Because nothing gets done. Like I'm going to tell y'all right now, y'all can pray to God all day, but he ain't going to help you until you help yourself. And that's the real truth. Like you could say, I want to do this. You know, I want to win the lottery. I'm gonna wait till God tells me to go play so I can win the lottery. But you can just play anytime you want. You don't need God to tell you. Excuse my distraction. You know, we're sharing space today. But everybody always wants to make an excuse for why. And truth be told, there's something that happened in your past and you growing up that is hindering you now. Because you will not release that thing that you're holding on to. You're not willing to dig. You're not willing to dig deep and truly no go and truly see what it is for you that needs to happen, right? Because we can say today, like, oh, you know what? I want to build houses. I could do it better than that guy. But if you're just sitting there doing nothing, you don't have no knowledge on where to buy nothing or not even have a company, right? Like you can start by yourself. You don't even have a company to buy from. You don't have anything to go to. You don't have nothing. Like, how do I know you build? How do I know you know what you're talking about? You have nothing to back it, but you always want to talk about somebody else's looks like crap. Like, stop comparing. This is not a competition. It is not something where we can go on and be like, you know what? I could do it better than her. Then do it. Then do it. If you think you could do it better than me, 100% do it. No, you see
Yeah, I agree, and I think that that's something that's been on my mind here lately because just people in general, and I've tended to do it myself. You tend to judge people, and as you were saying, you look at it like, man, what is this person doing? What is this? And then you're like, well, if anything, there shouldn't be no hate at all. She's like, they're doing a good job because you're not doing anything. So why do people hate so much if you're not doing anything? And what's that? I'm
I
sorry.
said, did you want me to answer? Was that a question?
No, it's just that that's just been something on my mind. And another thing is that people are so quick to show you their highlights, but what's really going on? Are you really getting after it? And the thing that I noticed is that, say, when I'll never forget, people always remember those highlights too. And then when they see you, they say, "Oh man, you're doing this." Well, that was just a moment in time. That was a highlight. But what else are you doing? And then when you reach that level of success, or when you think that this person is doing a whole lot better with their life or doing more than what you're doing, then all you think about is, oh man, look what he's doing. I can do that too. But you're not really thinking about everything that they're doing in the evening,
Behind the
at night, on the weekends. And I've told you before, I commend you because I used to be a person who did a lot of talk, and I'd have to admit, say for that doctorate I was working on, I was doing more talk and less writing. And it got to me to where I felt like if I just do a little bit or just in time, and I think that's what's important is that people think in time I will have it, but they're not doing anything for it. Only thing is clicking is time. And that's the way I felt. I said, well, if I just keep doing my weekly discussions, attending the group, participating, in time I would have it. But if it's not written down about what exactly you're going to do, you're not really going to have it. And that's the problem. And as I said before, when I started writing it down, I started to see obstacles in it. And not just obstacles, I figured out ways around it. It's like, oh, wow. I often think that why don't I do this or why don't I do that? It's because I tend to put other priorities. I think it's a priority in front of what really matters, what the big priority is. And I said, you know what? I can actually, there's two things that I can do within the next month to 6 months where I don't have to work. Or I mean, I don't have to work now, but where I don't have to do other things that I don't want to do. Meaning I can just focus on everything that I want to do, and that's it. Now we tend to work on helping others not succeed, but help others build their dream. Meaning, if you're working for someone else, what are you really doing? You're helping someone else, complete their dream or complete their goal, whatever that is.
Yeah, but you get comfortable.
Yeah, because you get comfortable. But I mean, the pandemic, you would think that a lot of people would have learned, like, okay, this job probably will not last forever. I see right now that I'm quarantined. I can't go to work. Now it's a possible chance I'm not getting paid. I get laid off. Now I don't have health insurance and everything. When if you would just have taken the time to just focus on your gift or whatever God gave you and say, now how can I make money? I could probably make money making t-shirts or making wood projects or several different small businesses or companies and start bringing in that income, that additional income. And then one thing can lead to another. Then it's something that you actually fall in love with because it was your idea that you wanted to do instead of copying someone else. And then you sit there like, oh, wow, man, I can make so much money. So I seen a guy, here I am starting to, I seen a guy in Lowe's. When I go to Lowe's, Home Depot, yesterday or the day before. Yeah, I went today too, but this is the other day. And I'm going to some wood in the back, and this guy comes up carrying a sign made out of wood where he used a jig machine or something. And I looked at it, I said, man, that's pretty nice. But he didn't buy that in here. And he ended up going to the same piece of wood that I was looking at.
Mm-hmm.
And then he opened up a conversation. Yeah, right? He opened up a conversation and said, yeah, I do things with woods. I built for professional football teams here in Tampa and Orlando and all this stuff. And I said, okay, that's why you're carrying that sign, right? Like an advertisement piece. He said, yes. Yeah. How'd you know? I said, well, it's a pretty good idea. I probably would do it too. I said, now what changed your mind? Like, why are you doing it for yourself? Why did you open up your own business? And he said, well, because he was working for somebody. And he was thinking that if I could hurry up and finish this project, then I could move to the next project and I'll start making more money. He said at the end of the 2 weeks, he ended up getting $900. And he says, well, why am I only getting $900? I just did 9 projects. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking I'm getting $3,000, $4,000. Mm-hmm. And they said, no, we're not paying you by the project. We're paying you by the time. And that's when he says, you know what? I'm not doing this again. Mm. And it makes you wonder. It's like that is so true.
Yeah, but for me, he never asked. He didn't ask the question.
You're
right?
right. He didn't ask
He
questions.
just assumed that if
Yes.
he rushed through that he would get that money. And that's the
Yes.
problem. That's another problem. People keep their mouths are closed. They're not willing to ask for what they believe they deserve.
That's
So
right.
now you attached that company not paying you for what you thought that they should be doing. So now you're kind of like, it's some people will bash that company because they're like, I did this for you, but no, you didn't. You thought about yourself and you went behind and you did it. And for me, I'm kind of like, he was it he's carrying a sign around the
Yes, and it actually worked. Yes, in Lowe's, it was a wood sign that he did his own in cursive type sign, and it worked because there was a guy, an older guy that was standing behind us, and I thought he was trying to get to the woods. So I moved off to the side, and the guy moved with me. And I'm saying, what is this guy doing? You know, because he was an older gentleman. And sure enough, I said, hey, man. He's like, hey, you mind, check me out. Here's my Instagram. Here's my website. All this. I said, yeah, not a problem. So I walked off, and the guy walks up and talked about the sign. And I said, yeah, it worked.
I mean,
To each his own, right?
I guess so. I feel like for me, the pictures, like, is he promoting, like, there's so much going on through my head right now. Is he promoting on Instagram? Is he posting every day? Like, that's the biggest thing. Like, everybody's walking around. He's a walking sign, literally, right?
Yeah, walking sign. Exactly.
Is he taking pictures of the jobs that he's done? Like, when he was on that job working for that other person, was he taking pictures of the things that he was doing and helping build? Because my thing is, you can create. I'll be right back. You just
Yeah.
keep
Well,
talking, I can hear you.
Yeah, you can hear me. Well, the thing is that I wasn't there long enough to figure out what else he was doing. I just wanted to get my piece of wood and leave the place because I had a lot to do at home. But the thing is that I commend him on is that he was doing something and he got tired of actually working for someone else to help their dreams come true. And that's the main discussion that we had.
Yeah.
Because so many people do that.
I'm not asking you to ask if he promoted it, but I'm just saying for the others, right? Like, when you say that you want to quit your job and you want to pursue your dreams, I'm all about it. But quitting, jumping out there and not having nothing to jump to is a difference, right? So we can take action by quitting the job. That's the action, right? And then things, and trusting that your intuition that it'll work.
That's right.
But are we building? Are we building? Are we creating, right? Like, are we promoting ourselves?
Well, I would like to think that he definitely is, and that's something that a lot of people.
He walking around Home Depot with a sign, so
yeah, but it's working for him.
I mean,
that works for him, and I commend him because I think about it. He's doing something where he's. And here's another thing: all those other projects he was doing, he didn't really enjoy doing them. So, because when he mentioned some other projects, I was like, oh man, let me get your card. I mean, they have some work in the future to do. He says, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that anymore. But he just wants to, meaning he remodels houses.
So he remodels houses?
Yes.
Oh, so
he did. He doesn't do it anymore.
Here's the deal. When it comes to like your purpose, right? We all talk about, some people say, I don't know my purpose. And the question is, do you want to dig deep? Because purpose is not just a fancy way of finding your passion, right? It's a process of entering God's plan. And it's about discovering your divine alignment and assignment to fulfill what God's given mission, your life's mission is. And when you start to step into what God has for you, it's about believing bigger for yourself. And if you can't believe bigger for yourself, you cannot require, like, so in a marriage, right? You say, I have this big old dream. but I don't believe it. I don't believe it fully, right? But then you like, well, you don't support my dream. Boo, what dream? Like what dream? Because you don't pursue what you love. So how is it me not supporting a dream? It comes to a point where people have to be willing to take their chance on themselves without the support, right? Like so you can't look for me to support you without supporting yourself.
That's right.
Because you want somebody to say, "Oh, go, yes, 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 yes." But what do you do when those yeses aren't there? What are you doing when that the back end ain't there? What do you do when it doesn't look good? You keep going. You keep being willing to find those things that make your gift grow. And if you're forcing, and my thing is, my biggest thing is pushing water up a hill, right? If you are feeling like you are pushing water up a hill, y'all know that's impossible, right? You cannot push water up a hill. All it's going to do is drown you. So if you're trying to do something that does not fulfill you, all you're going to do is drown, because you're continuously trying to do things that, not that they don't have no interest, because we can always do whatever, right? Like we can always, I'll be right back.
Oh my.
But anyway, I can still hear you.
Boy, I tell you, kids will definitely try you. Um, but you can't live without them because they give off so much love.
I'll just not coming
But
because I can't hear Daddy. Come on. All right, I'm still here.
watching you, babe, to be able to continue to talk and stay on topic and also deal with the kids, it lets me know that what your priorities are.
I mean,
You don't let any distraction stop you.
you can't be. I mean, yes, things get, like I say I want to do something by a certain time, and sometimes, with kids, everything is unpredictable. Like I be cute, like, oh, I'm gonna be done in an hour. 5 hours later, but I finished it, right? Because staying on goal and staying on, continue to do what you need to do for you is what's important. And you could say all day that we can blame, we can say I don't have what you have, I don't, it could be always something that somebody else says, or an excuse that they find a reason why, right? Because all of this is an excuse. Okay, can you please? I'm not. I'm on it live. Lord, it's being willing to do that thing. That's really what it is, right? Like today, every time we get on live, I feel like I say, pick something, pick one thing that you want to do, and just take that small step, that small action to get it. Just take that one thing. Like today, what is it that you want to accomplish that you've been putting off? Because that's what our topic is. What are you distracting yourself with to not do that thing that you want? And if you're distracting yourself from it, do you really want it? Is it for you, or is it something that you think you should do?
And some people don't want anything more.
And
that's okay.
And that's cool. Like for me though, like 2022, I already said it, it's level up time. Like the things that you accepted or the things that you did back in 2021 now has to take a shift. And that's with health, that's with everything. Like you have to be willing to do the hard things, right? The things that you think is hard, because once you do it, it's like, oh, that wasn't that bad. Like, oh, that was easy. I made that big mountain that was a baby speed bump more difficult than it had to be. Like I ignored it for months and months and months. And I have a friend, she had something that she had to do and she refused to do it, but kept avoiding it and avoiding it and avoiding it. And months later, I was like, just do it. Just stop making, like literally I couldn't anymore. I said, stop making excuses and just do it. And literally every excuse she had told me, As soon as we got off the phone, she took the action and did it. Everything just flowed without any hiccups, hangups, anything. And I say that to say this. What are you putting off because you think it's so hard? You think it's too much. You don't have the time. Everything is, I don't have time. I can't do this. I don't have the time you have. I got to do this. I got to do that. But how much time do you really spend a day doing crap you don't need to be doing? And you can invest that in what you want to do, in what you truly want to do. And if you don't know your purpose, you want to learn your purpose, time to dig deep, time to sit in silence and listen to yourself about what comes up for what you're passionate about, what you love. Because people will continue to say all day, I don't have a purpose. You do. Everybody does. You just don't know it, or you're just not willing to dig deep. Or it's something that you have hidden and ignored for so long that you have no clue at all what that is. So it's
putting your thoughts on paper as you go throughout your day. Just you. When I was coming up, we had to have paper, pencil and paper on us. Well, a pen and a paper on us at all times. And we would have to take notes or whatever throughout the day, meaning in the military, when I came up in the military, not when I was a child. But putting your thoughts on paper.
In the military?
Yes. You're not, first of all, let me back up and say the Army, because I can't speak for all of the military. But in the Army, when I came up in the 90s, in early 2000, it started to fade away in like 2005, I guess, is where every soldier, it was required that you have a pen and paper on you at all times. You're in uniform, you have a pen and paper, and you write down everything that you're basically being told. Not only that, you write down your short and long-term goals and everything. And throughout the day, you need to, that's why I came up at. And it was smart because you see a lot of people that don't do that now. Just like having a vision board, if you're not writing it down, it's more likely that you're going to forget about it until somebody bring it up. You says, "Oh yeah, I was going to do that," but did you write it down? When you write it down, it kind of holds you accountable. It's like having a daily task. This is what I need to do today, and you write it down. And you'll be surprised that when you go back over your notes, some of them may be like items, and then you're like, okay, well, I do like this, or I don't like this, because it's in my journal here or my notebook or what have you. But it helps. It helps a lot.
Does it help if you don't take action?
Yeah, it helps because maybe it's not the time to take action. Maybe it's just a thought that you have right now that you're not really wanting to take action right now because you have other priorities in line. And it may not be your number one priority or number two, but it's on your list. That's just like they say brainstorming. When you brainstorm, you write 100 things down, everything that you want to do, kind of like a bucket list. And then you start prioritizing, okay, well, my bucket list, say I want to go to Miami. It's a lot closer than going to California, so that becomes my number one. But it's still on your bucket list. You're still writing it down. Now, because it's that priority depends on that individual and what they want to do and what they want to accomplish. Yes?
No, but it's okay. Go with what you go with. That's not. Hello, Alex. That's not no, but if that's how you do it, then do it big.
Everybody's different. Just along with someone, if you're getting what you would like to get done,
do it big. Did not say anything else. Literally did not say anything.
What I'm just trying to say is that it's on the individual. Sometimes a person may talk about doing something, but they're just not ready to do it yet.
Okay.
And no one can say, hey, well, you're not getting after it. Well, this person may want to get after it. This is not like a debate or anything.
What are you getting defensive about? All I said was Okay, that's it. Didn't say no. I didn't need you to give me a backstory on why somebody put something. It's okay. Okay. It was not for you to defend. It was not for you to have a deep into topic about it. It's just that's
Yes.
that's I just like I said, if that's your opinion on how you take care of your list, that is it. 100%. No need to defend it. That's what you do. That's what 10 people do. Then do it big. But for me, I just think that people need to be willing to pursue the things they love. Be willing to dig deep and be where you want to be and not worry about anybody else. Stop trying to build up other people and support them and what they want to do, and you're ignoring you and yours. That's my biggest thing. You people sit here and they say, oh, so and so is doing this, so and so is doing that. Like, what does it matter what anybody else is doing if you're highlighting what they're doing to not do what you're doing? Or the biggest thing with people, they talk about people, they were like, oh, you know what so and so is doing? What does it matter what so and so is doing? What is it hurting? Like, and that's the biggest I know I've seen it growing up in the military, coming up through the military. People will bash somebody else for doing what they love. Or like, you look at somebody and be like, why did you wear that? Why you got that on? But it ain't our business. If that person loves what they got on, let them love it. It's like the little things we talk about people for, it becomes us being, it's like when you highlight somebody else's something, it's like, are you jealous of them because they did that? Like, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, they stepped out and decided to wear that flamboyant color or that bright color that looks crazy, but they loved it. So for you to judge that other person about what they got on, what they decided to do, how they run their business, it's not our place to be somebody else's judge. You don't have nothing to say? Okay. Well, I guess we'll end this conversation and come back next week. You guys have an amazing night.
All right.